Indiana Fever could be about to present Caitlin Clark with the perfect coach following the dismissal of Christy Sides. The WNBA outfit relieved Sides of her duties following back-to-back defeats to Connecticut Sun in the playoffs last month, despite leading the Fever to its highest finish in 8 years following her 2022 appointment. Clark was instrumental in the team's achievements last season, boasting an impressive rookie campaign with averages of 9.2 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 8.4 assists per game. Most notably, however, she netted a league-high 122 three-pointers in the WNBA. Yet, despite her stellar performance, the 22-year-old sharpshooter will have to adjust to a new mentor on the court after Sides was shown the exit door on Sunday, a move that came as a surprise to many given general manager Lynn Dunn had previously emphasized the importance of stability for the team. Sides, 47, issued a 7-word response to her dismissal online. Taking to social media just hours after her sacking, she wrote, "Leave it better than you found it." It was a sentiment that's hard to dispute given the state of the Fever before her tenure. Prior to her appointment, the team had suffered a terrible records of 45-147 over 6 seasons in the WNBA. By the close of 2023, the Fever ended with a winning percentage of 0.325, their best performance since 2019, showcasing their development as an emerging team. This progress caught the attention of Clark, who joined them as the NO.1 overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft. However, the Clark mania seemed to weigh heavily on Sides, who faced backlash from fans for not fully utilizing the Rookie of the Year by building the team around her. The duo were also spotted arguing following the defeat to Chicago Sky in July, suggesting a potential rift in the dressing room. In a twist of fate, however, the Fever could look to swoop for the coach that caused them heartbreak in last month's playoffs. Connecticut Sun coach Stephanie White, a former Fever player from 2000 to 2004, is being touted as the perfect candidate to guide the Indianapolis franchise to glory. White remains contracted with the Sun until the end of the 2025 WNBA season, but the 2023 WNBA Coach of the Year has surfaced as a contender for the Fever position due to her faith in Clark's exceptional talent, which she openly expressed earlier in the season. After setting records in the NCAA, Clark had a challenging start in the WNBA, but White defended her from criticism and maintained the stance that the Iowa alum needed time to adjust to her new environment. "I'm looking at all these things that all these people are talking about with Caitlin Clark. I'm like, guys, chill out. She's going to be fine," White previously said. "It's 2 games in. Are you kidding me? She's a student of the game. She got better every year in college. It takes time." Whether White is keen on the job remains uncertain, but the opportunity to potentially guide Clark and Fever to victory might be too tempting to resist. Stephanie White showered Caitlin Clark with praise during her WNBA rookie season and could now be her new head coach for the Indiana Fever. The franchise announced they parted ways with head coach Christy Sides on Sunday, October 27, despite the Fever making the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. White, who is the head coach of the Connecticut Sun, has been touted as a top contender for the vacant job due to her history with the side as well as her support for Clark earlier on in her debut campaign. Not only was the 47-year-old raised in Indiana, where she attended Seeger High School and Purdue University, she spent 4 years with the Fever as a player in the WNBA from 2000 to 2004. Following her playing career, White was an assistant coach with the club for 3 years before she was promoted to head coach in 2015. She led the franchise to only their second WNBA Finals appearance in her first year in charge, which they lost to the Minnesota Lynx. White may have inadvertently ingratiated herself with many Clark supporters after she came to the 22-year-old's defense when criticism was thrown her way after a slow start to her rookie campaign. "I'm looking at all these things that all these people are talking about with Caitlin Clark. I'm like, guys, chill out. She's going to be fine," White said. "It's 2 games in. Are you kidding me? She's a student of the game. She got better every year in college. It takes time." The Sun coach was able to keep a keen eye on Clark during the playoffs when her side swept the Fever in the first round. Despite the dominating performances by her team, she still offered up praise to the point guard. "Everybody on the floor understands how, when, and where Caitlin Clark can get them the ball. And so they get there," White said. "Kelsey Mitchell's obviously playing at another level now, and so it gives you another player on the floor that you have to be mindful of, on and off ball in isolation and in 2-man. Despite her contract with the Sun covering the 2025 season, her aloof statement when recently asked about her future only sparked more speculation over whether she may consider a second stint with the Fever. "My priority is my family right now," White said. Honestly, just being here for my family, getting through this, that's my priority. White could be a perfect fit for Indiana, especially with better facilities, a surging team, and the prospect of coaching Caitlin Clark, already one of the best players in the league. White has ample experience in the playoffs, winning a championship with the Fever as an assistant in 2012 and leading the Sun to the WNBA playoff semifinals both seasons she was their head coach. She has a close history with Krauskopf and Lynn Dunn, who is still with the organization as a senior advisor to Fever basketball after a 2-year run as the Fever's GM from 2022 to 24. White started her WNBA coaching career as an assistant with the Chicago Sky from 2007 to 10, then moved to become an assistant coach for Indiana from 2011 to 14 under Dunn. Krauskopf, who was the Fever's president from 2000 to 18, gave White her first WNBA head coach gig with the Fever in 2015 after Dunn retired from coaching, and she led Indiana to the WNBA Finals in her first season. She only spent 2 seasons as the Fever's head coach, though, leaving after the 2016 season for the college ranks at Vanderbilt. Krauskopf returned to the Fever following the 2024 season after 6 years as an assistant general manager for the Pacers. White praised Krauskopf's return in a media availability during the first round of the WNBA playoffs between the Fever and the Sun. Kelly is certainly the architect of everything that's gone on in the Indiana Fever franchise from day one, White said of Krauskopf on September 24. For her to come back, it says how serious the organization is to taking the next step, and I think it shows Kelly's love for the W, right, love and commitment to the W and to the Indiana Fever franchise. Certainly, there's no one better to usher the Fever into this new era than Kelly. White has familial ties to Indiana too. She is from West Lebanon and was Miss Basketball out of Seeger High School. She was a leader of the Purdue team that won the NCAA championship in 1999, winning Big Ten Player of the Year and the Wade Trophy winner that season. She played for the now-defunct Charlotte Sting to start her WNBA career and then played 4 seasons with Indiana before retiring from playing in 2004. Sides was a first-time head coach, essentially learning on the job. She went 13-27 in her first season at Indiana, then 20-20 with a playoff berth in what became her second and final year. She led the Fever to the playoffs for the first time since 2016, and ultimately brought stability to a franchise that had become the laughingstock of the league for years on end. Krauskopf praised such stability in her introductory news conference earlier this month, saying it was hard not to be impressed by her progress. "It takes time," Krauskopf said on Octate. "It took a long time for teams that I've had to gel and to get together, years. It doesn't happen in 4 months. It takes a few years. I was really impressed with the progress that they made and how Christy is a resilient leader. She's a culture builder. I know just that she's got that kind of, stamina to stick to it and stick to her plan, and she's a good person, and she's a great leader. I was impressed with the way they finished." But with Side's relative inexperience in the playoffs, the team felt she wasn't the coach that could take the Fever to the next level. 2 of Indiana's big 3, Aliyah Boston and Clark, are on rookie contracts, making it relatively inexpensive to keep them along with Kelsey Mitchell, who will command a max contract assuming she re-signs in free agency. But when Boston's rookie contract is up in 2 years, Clark in 3, keeping that core together will become much more expensive, and those players could elect to go somewhere else. Still, the timing of Side's firing is odd, coming a month after the Fever season ended and a week after the WNBA champions were crowned. It's a firing that would likely only happen if the Fever front office had a solid plan in place for her successor, someone they couldn't pass up if given the opportunity. While decisions like these are never easy, it is also imperative that we remain bold and assertive in the pursuit of our goals, which includes maximizing our talent and bringing another WNBA championship back to Indiana, Krauskopf said in a statement announcing Side's firing on Sunday.